So Damodar Leela, it happened in this particular month, and that's one of the reasons that we offer all our devotional activities to Damodar. That is a small childlike form of the Lord, where he was tied to the wooden grinding mortar. Is it there? Yes, that's the one. So that's the form that we pay our respects, obeisances, devotional activities, everything that we do, we offer it to the Lord. This particular month, it started on the 17th of October and it lasts till November 15th. This is the best time to actually do all our devotional activities in a very conscious way. Because this is where the Lord did a mischievous activity, right? Lord wanted milk and Yashoda Maya was churning milk that time. So Lord wanted her to feed her. So he cried. And Yashoda Maya took her in her arms, on her lap, and she was feeding her breast milk. And what happened was, when Lord was having the milk, suddenly she had kept the milk on the stove. What happens when it boils? It spills out. As it was going to spill out, Yashoda Maya dropped Lord Krishna down and she ran into the kitchen to turn off the stove. Now Krishna got a little upset. How can she do this to me? Right? She neglected me and she ran to stop the stove. So Krishna got very upset. So what he did, he broke the pots, butter pots. He ate from it. He called the monkeys, he fed the monkeys also the butter. Yashoda Maya came out and she was very angry. She said that I need to discipline my child now. And she ran behind him. There's a picture of, see that? That's our Lord. And Yashoda Maya running behind. Can you imagine Lord of the world, right? And you see him scared and running. So these are all Leelas. Thank you. And she caught hold of him. He was crying, right? From his lotus eyes, tears were falling. Right? Such a beautiful sight if you actually meditate on this. And Yashoda Maya thought that we should discipline him, and she was going to tie him to a wooden mortar. And she got a rope. And every time she was trying to tie him, it felt 2 inches short. She told, get something else. She went and got something else. Every time the rope fell 2 inches short. Who can bind the Lord? Who can bind the Lord? But seeing Yashoda Maya's effort, seeing her stubbornness, seeing her love that I need to discipline my child, Lord allowed her to bind it. Right? So Lord sees the effort and the love that you have for him. Otherwise, who can? Even the yogis and the sadhus who have been meditating for so many lifetimes have never been able to capture the Lord. It's only by love that you can capture the Lord. So this is a particular form of the Lord. There is various pastimes. Even after this, he actually liberated Nalakuvera and Manigriva. That's a different pastime, right? Kuvera's sons. So this is a form of the Lord that we actually offer all our devotional activities. So today, after the session, it is said that when we offer lamb to the Lord, it is the most auspicious thing in this particular month. So we will be offering ghee lambs to the Lord today. So after the session ends, I will tell you how to offer the lamb, right? And if possible, you should do this on a daily basis till the month of Kartika, right? And there's got so many benefits. So it is very dear for us. If you see Vrindavan right now, if you go to Vrindavan, it is crowded. You won't have place to stand also. Exact crowd. People from all over the world come. You won't get hotel bookings in Vrindavan. That's how important this is. Okay. With that, we'll start a session today. Like always, we'll dedicate this session to A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And today's session is Mind Your Mind. Such an important session. Everyone is struggling. Do you all agree? We all struggle. There's something that we carry called the mind. We carry that everywhere. Right? Thinking that is only working there to benefit us. It is said, Martin Luther King says, in this age, we have guided missiles and misguided men. You know that? Martin Luther King says that. So mind, the fickle nature of mind, you have to understand how fickle it is. Scriptures say that Markatasya Surapanam Madhye Vrishchika Damshanam Tat Madhye Bhuta Sanchara Yadva Tadva Bhavishyati. So Markatasya Surapanam, what does that mean? So let's say mind is like a monkey, is what the scriptures say. You know how monkey is? You know how the nature of the monkey is? It's very restless. It jumps from one branch to another branch, one tree to another tree, one forest to another forest. That's how the nature of monkey is, very restless. Now see what the scriptures say. Now the same monkey, Markatasya Shurapanam, it says, if you give it a little alcohol, how will the monkey behave? You go crazy. And the next thing it says, Vrishika Damshanam. Vrishika means scorpion. 10 scorpions bite it. What will happen? It's already tipsy. Then 10 scorpions bite it. You go crazy. And next one is Madhya Bhuta Sanchara. Now it's possessed by a ghost. Now we don't know what the monkey is going to do. The same case is with our mind. That is our mind. So we can't say how the mind acts. And we carry this everywhere. We carry this everywhere. You know, say, mind, if you see, we think it's our friend, right? Most of us think mind works in our favor, right? It is, see, if you know an enemy, it's easier for us to, if someone is attacking us, and we know that is the enemy, so we close our house door, and we protect ourselves. What if there is an enemy within the house itself, and we already closed the door, waiting to kill us, waiting to harm us? And that is called the mind. The mind is all wicked. That's all you are thinking, right? It is wicked because we don't have sufficient knowledge as of now. Now we can make it our friend as well. That is what the whole Bhagavad Gita is all about. Right? So let's start our session today. Nature of the mind. So today we'll start what is the nature of the mind. You got a little understanding how the mind, fickle mind is, right? Let's start. Now if you see, mind, the most powerful material element. Now if you see, when you actually make a decision, when you are actually in a certain situation and you are supposed to make a decision, do you all hear multiple voices from your head? Multiple voices? One says yes, another says no. You know? Yeah, everyone faces it. Any time we have to make a decision, we hear multiple voices. So I'll tell you, I'll break the suspense. One is mine. Okay, let's go to you. Let's go. If we go back to the shlokas, we have actually read this shloka. Again, we'll go. So please repeat after me. Bhumirapo nalo vayu Kammano buddhirevaja Ahankara iti yamme Bhinna prakritir ashtada. Can somebody read the translation, please? Okay, thank you so much, Mataji. So this is from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7 and 4. So in this, what we are trying to understand here, Lord Krishna has actually spoken about 8 material elements. The 5 are gross material, 8 are subtle material. 3 are subtle material. So what are the 5 material? And what are the 3 subtle? Mind, intelligence, body. Now as we go higher, things become subtler. So we see the 5 gross elements, and as you go higher, which is mind, intelligence, and false ego, and spiritual soul, that is on the spiritual platform, it gets subtler. Let me give you an example. Now ether is something that we can't see. What does ether propagate? Ether propagates sound. So let's look at how. We'll go step by step basis, right? So there is ether, right? And the sense that is activated is sound. Next one is air. What is the sense that get activated? Smell, that is if there is bad smell only it gets activated. Otherwise, just air. Feel, right? So air activates the senses called feel. Next is fire. What does fire activate? Touch? Heat? It's a form. See, eyesight. So if we are breaking it down. So if you see fire, you can actually see it, you can feel it, you can sound is also there in fire. Okay? And as you go, water. Water, what is the sense that get activated? Taste. And when you go to earth, all the four elements are activated, plus one extra one. Which is that? Now we saw sound, feel, sight, touch, smell. So you see, when there is, I know this is a city, it's not that we get every time when there is rainfall, you get the nice aroma of the earth, right? Mother Earth, right? Some of us have experienced it, at least in the villages we have, right? So if you see, now if we go back from earth to ether, the five senses, it actually comes down 4, 3, 2, 1. Goes back to ether, it is sound. Above that is the subtler material energy, which is mind. Above that, above mind is intelligence. Above intelligence is, above false ego is spirit soul, which is not in the material platform, it's in the spiritual platform. Have you got an understanding? Right? Now, I think last time also we spoke about a lot of spiritual organization talking about peace of mind, and we understood that peace of mind is not a spiritual thing to aspire for. So as spiritual seekers, anything related to soul is spiritual. Because Krishna says this is bhinna prakriti ashtadha. These 8 elements are material energy. So anyone says peace of mind, it still comes under the material platform. Right? Is that clear? Okay. Now when I talk about how mind works, how does mind work? It works on likes and dislikes, right? So scripture says it works on rejection and acceptance. If I like something, I'll accept it. If I don't like it, I'll reject it. That's how mind works, right? If I gave this example last time also. It's about, see, there's a particular diabetic person, okay, and he's going to a wedding, and he sees a right arrangement, a buffet arrangement that is kept, and he's so eagerly waiting to taste it, and he goes at each counter, and then he's diabetic, but he loves sweet, and he goes to the sweet sector, I mean sweet area, the place where they're actually serving the sweet, and what happens? He sees gulab jamun, right? Now he likes it, he takes it. Now the mind says you like it, eat it. But there's another voice which says, if you eat it, you will be in trouble. मत खा, खाएगा फिर से हॉस्पिटल जाएगा. So mind says नहीं नहीं, एक बार खा ले कुछ नहीं होगा. Mind works on likes. And what is that behind who's selling? Intelligence. Intelligence. How does intelligence work? Intelligence works on discrimination. What is good and what is bad. Now in our daily life, if you see, our mind is only controlling most of us. Ideally, the way it is mentioned in scriptures is intelligence should dictate the mind. But we have made our mind so powerful, the mind is actually dictating the intelligence. So even though the intelligence is telling you eat this, you will be in trouble, the mind is so overpowered, neglects what intelligence is telling and goes to eat the gulab jamun. Right? You all agree? This happens, right? Now how does this happen? Why does this happen? On what basis does the mind decide likes and dislikes? What basis? I'll tell you. Samskaras. Have you heard this? Right? इसके संस्कार अच्छे नहीं है, इसके संस्कार बुरे हैं. You would have heard this, right? In North India, a lot of people use samskar. It's called impressions. Now, impressions, I'll tell you something. People talk about past life impressions. Can you give me some examples of past life impressions? Fear, okay. Then, past life experiences. Like we have no experience. Talk about a small baby, 1 or 2 year old, who doesn't have much experience in this world, who's not seen much. Now think in that aspect. What are the kinds of impressions that baby has? Can you think of anything? Scared? Phobia? Have you heard of phobia? A lot of kids have phobia. Anger. So many. Some kids don't like a certain vegetable also. I don't know why. Whatever happens, they won't eat it at all. Right? So there are so many past life impressions also which actually impact us. If you see, when I talk about any kind of impressions in your childhood, say when you're 5 years, 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, you will not be able to tell me the entire episode, right? Point by point, will you be able to tell me? There will be only certain aspects that you will be able to tell me. You know why? Because that has created a deep impression in your heart. And that is what stays with you. So if I talk about anything in my life, I will only be able to remember certain things which has had a deep impact. That is called samskar. Right? Let's see what mind picks up from everywhere. Impressions are based on what we hear, see, make money, become that, achieve that, buy this product. Why? People tell that, ads are telling that. Now you have to understand. Now we are all studying. We all studied. Why did we study? To make money. Okay, tell me an example of a successful man. What is success? Wealth, money, then power. What else? Name, fame, social recognition. Yes. Recognition. Yes. What else? Impact on the society. How many people you can influence? Yes. What else? This is success. Yeah, this is the definition of success. In a normal world, this is the definition of success. I'll give you an example from Ramayana. Ravana had all of this. Ravana had all of this. Name, fame, recognition, everything. Wealth. In fact, he had a private jet, even before the Wright brothers. Now, it is a different story that he stole it from Kubera, but he had a private jet. Now, why do we call him Wicked Butt? Because of an uncontrolled mind. He had all the resources, but he had an uncontrolled mind. The same thing, let's look at Dasharatha. Right? So 10 heads of Ravana is said to be 5 working senses and 5 knowledge gaining senses. It was completely out of control. It was going just here and there. That's what the analogy says. And what about Dasharatha? What is the meaning of Dasharatha? 10 runs, chariot. Right? In the scriptures it says the 10 chariot is compared to the 10 senses again. So Dasharatha he had everything what Ravana had. He was in Ayodhya. Ayodhya is a place. What is Ayodhya? What does Ayodhya mean? Ayodhya. What does it mean? Jahan yuddh nahi hota. Where there is no war. That is the meaning of Ayodhya. And he was ruling it so well. With all the opulence that he had. Same thing what Ravana had. But he had control over his mind. Sense, mind. And Lord himself appeared in that Vamsha. So you see the difference? You see the difference? Same thing if I tell you, if I go back to Mahabharata. Let's take Mahabharata for instance. Duryodhana. Everyone knows Duryodhana? A lot of people ask what father or mother will actually name someone called Duryodhana. No, actually, his parents named with the good intention. Dur and Yodhana. Yodhana means someone who fights. Dur means wicked people. Someone who fights the wicked people. But Duryodhana took it in a very different sense. He fought for the wicked people. Right? So if we talk about the opulence of Duryodhana, it is said that Duryodhana never repeated a dish. I can't remember what I ate yesterday morning, breakfast. He never repeated a dish. He had 1,000 cooks in his palace. 1,000 cooks. Can you imagine the opulence? It is said that he never repeated any of the clothes that he wore. Wore the clothes, he threw it in the trash can. Never repeated. He had 16,000 people to manage his money. Some of us hardly have 16,000 rupees in a bank. 16,000 people to manage his money. For us, one person is enough. So whatever we have, 16,000 people to manage his money. Can you imagine the opulence that he had? Duryodhana had so much ego, so much uncontrolled mind. There was a time when it is said that it was a sunny day. He was sitting on the porch, and the sun was shining bright on his head. And his servant came and actually kept an umbrella on his head. You know what he did? He shouted at his servant, "How can you keep something above me?" That was the arrogance that Duryodhana had. Nobody can be above me. Right? So that's the kind of arrogance Duryodhana had. And what happened? Ultimately, there was his downfall because of a uncontrolled mind. Same thing if you look at Yudhishthira. He didn't have anything actually. Eventually he got everything. If you see the Vanvas that he went, no food, no clothing, no shelter. But what happened? What happened? Life actually squeezed him. Life actually squeezed him. But he came out victorious because he had a controlled mind. So if I give an option, if you want to become Duryodhana or Yudhishthira, I think majority of us will pick whom? Yudhishthira. Right? Majority of us will pick Yudhishthira. So that is what past life samskaras, this life samskaras. Even if you see twins, right? Kids, twins. Though they look same, they all have different personalities. If you see, though they look same, they have different likings also. Everything is different except for probably the way they look. Everything else is different. And this is because of past life samskaras. Right? Mind is the best video and photo editor. Do you agree? I'll tell you an example. If you watch a movie today, I watched a nice romantic movie. I'm in my teens. Suddenly, the hero changes. I become the hero. Heroine changes, someone else becomes the heroine. Right? Our mind does that. Someone sings a nice song. Suddenly we imagine, I wish I was the one who was singing that song for someone very special. Right? The mind is always editing. Mind always does this trick. Suddenly we place ourselves as the main character. Imagine ourselves in that particular situation. Do you all agree to that? It happens. It happens. Now these are some of the things. You see the acronym MINDS. So what does MIND does? Let's look into what does the mind does. M stands for magnifies the problem. I stands for infinite thoughts and desire. N stands for never in the present. D stands for distraction. S stands for Stress and anxiety. So let's look into this now. Magnifies the problem. Have you all had the experience where tooth extraction, if I'm talking about, I extracted one tooth, and if you see the whole day my tongue is actually going to that particular place only, right? It happens, right? It's natural. What is there? What is there? Our tongue actually goes into that. So what it says that we have 31 good things happening in our life, and we focus on one bad thing, one small problem in our life. We magnify it so much. That's how our tongue works. You all agree? राय का क्या बनाते हैं? पहाड़ बनाते हैं. Mountain out of a molehill in English. So that's what we do. Such a small thing, such a low. If there are things, if we tell that don't associate with certain people who are not good for you, because people say, no, you are what your qualities is what you carry. Five people that you associate with. And there are so many people saying, Prabhuji, ऐसा तो नहीं कर सकते हो, ऐसे में करो तो वो क्या सोचेंगे, right? So people always think that what other people will think. So mind is constantly so many thoughts. It is said that mind on a daily basis we have around 60 to 80,000 thoughts. 60 to 80,000 thoughts. Can you imagine what a havoc mind is creating inside? And we carry it everywhere. We carry this mind, personality everywhere. Now, if you consider 6 to 7 hours of sleeping, it is one thought a second. One thought a second. My God. Can you imagine? So many thoughts. Let's look at the next. This is uncontrolled thoughts. I think there's a video. Let me just play.
अरे विवेक, I want to talk to you something. चलो अभी तो तुम निकलो, मंडे को बात करें. पता नहीं तो क्या बात है. तभी मेरा प्रोजेक्ट को नहीं चाहिए ना. अब रिव्यू तो नहीं है मंडे. बॉस को कोई पता नहीं है. मैं आपको एक वीडियो अपने डाउट से बनवा. सर, हाँ, सर आप कह रहे थे कुछ जरूरी बात है. अरे हाँ, मैं कह रहा था तुम शादी कब कर रहे हो? उम्र भी नहीं जा रही है. सर ये बात कर रही है. हाँ यही कह रहा था. चलो चाय पी जाते.
Right, one small question here, one small request he had. Monday को करते हैं बात. And the whole weekend he was just thinking about what will he speak. Right? Does our mind do that? Does the mind do that? I think everyone, no? It does. See, uncontrolled thoughts. There are so many uncontrolled thoughts that come into our mind. I was just thinking about an example. Yeah. There was a survey actually conducted. In UK, it is said that 60% of the people, they actually think about killing their boss in their dreams. It was a survey. I actually heard this from one of the senior Vaishnavas. And he said that 60% of the people actually think about killing their boss. And someone asked that Prabhuji also, what does the 40% do? They daydream of killing the boss. So can you imagine? That is the kind of, the people are so stressed out. Right? Even when we are project हुआ, then our boss calls up and asks, काम हुआ? He says, नहीं हुआ, होने वाला है. So in our mind, we are actually planning to shoot him, kill him. Right? Please come forward. Please come. Whoever comes can last space. right? So 60% of the people are actually thinking of killing their boss in UK. That's the stress that we have. Now, when you talk about, there was one of our preachers who actually went to a prison to actually preach. Yeah, most of our ISKCON devotees go to the prison also to preach, right? For the benefit of the prisoners. And this was a very nice thing that I listened to, and it was so hilarious to listen to this. And this particular preacher met this very young boy who was 24 or 25 years old, and he was facing this sentence of lifetime imprisonment. So Prabhuji went and asked him, "What did you do that you're here?" So since he heard that lecture, he was very influenced by the lecture. He was very inspired by the lecture. So he said, "Prabhuji, I had a college fight." So that particular preacher told, "College fight? Most of us have had in fights in the college, but I'm not in the prison. Prabhuji, I fought with that particular person, and he got liberated." Because he was so influenced by the lecture that he heard, so he used the word liberated. Right? And he was telling the preacher that how he regretted the entire episode. He said that particular moment, he was so stressed. He had so many thoughts in his head. Only thought he had that he was focused on, I don't like this person, I want to kill him. Right? And that is what happened at that particular point of time. And he regretted it. A lot of times it happens to us. In anger, we don't know what we speak. Does that happen? If someone says, I have a very controlled mind, put him in a situation where he is very angry. You will hear nice mantras coming out of his mouth. The mantras that are not there in the scriptures. When you are put in that particular situation, the worst things come out of your mouth, and people regret it. So that's about it. Infinite thoughts, right? Infinite uncontrolled thoughts, right? Creates a lot of negativity within us. Past and the future. Do you all agree? We are always constantly thinking about past. I could have done this better, right? And future, the things that have not come yet. Constantly thinking about past or the future. We are just dangling. One leg is there and one leg is here. On a boat, how do we stand? Two boats. One leg is another. And actually, what are we forgetting? The present. And that is what is happening to every one of us. If you actually consciously think about what all, and you write down what I thought, 80,000 thoughts, you can't write it down. But some of the thoughts that you have on a daily basis, you will actually see that most of it is actually me dwelling in the past or thinking about the future. So that's what happens. And what really happens, even when you go to the office or any kind of work that we have, our productivity is also increasing. Do you all agree? Productivity also decreases because there are multiple thoughts in our head. It decreases because constantly we are here or there. Or probably we are just giving 10 to 20% of what our efficiency is. That's why we keep procrastinating, right? Our work. We keep forgetting what we are supposed to do. Because there are so many thoughts in our head. Efficiency reduces very badly. When it comes to spirituality, it will actually help you all. What does mantra meditation teach you? What do we do when we do mantra meditation? We are focusing on the sound vibrations that are coming out of our mouth. A lot of people, a lot of spiritual preachers, spiritualists who do mantra meditation, and it's also proved in one of the university how they actually compared the brain element of a person who is a spiritualist who does mantra meditation and a normal person. And the activation on the number of cells that get activated in the person who is actually doing mantra meditation was very high compared to the normal person. So mantra meditation, of course, it helps you spiritually because it's a spiritual mantra. It also helps you materially also. A lot of things, if you look at the brahmacharis and sannyasis in ISKCON itself, they do multiple things. Some of us think that we do so many things, they are just there preaching. They do multiple things. If you spend 10 to 12 hours with them, because I have spent 10 to 12 hours in the temple, so I know what they do. You will be amazed at the things that they do. And they are so efficient, so productive. The mantra meditation will help you spiritually as well as materially. Right? Distraction, not able to focus. How many of us go through this? Yeah, I think you all can give a class on your distraction. Right? Everyone, you're sitting here, how many of you are actually here? So many thoughts would have gone about house. Right? So many of us are thinking what this fellow is telling here, sitting and wasting my time for 1 hour. I could have done so many things. If I tell you don't think about a pink monkey, you would have already thought about a pink monkey. Haven't you? That's how the mind is. That's how the mind is. Various things. So it is said, mind is like a browser. Do you all use browsers? Internet? What browser do you use? Everyone uses? Chrome. Chrome is the most. Edge. Internet Explorer, anyone can use? No. So mind is like a web page, they say. We have an home page. We have favorites that we normally go to. We have history. Right? You all agree to this? Mind is very similar to that. We have an home page. We have some history. That is our past life samskaras. We have some favorite things that we like to do. We all agree? Can this mind be configured? Can this web page be configured? It can be configured. How can it be configured? If I talk about spiritual in a spiritual way, we do mantra meditation. But even if I configure the web page, there are certain kind of pop-ups that come, blockers that come. Yes. What do we do with that? We cut it and then continue. That's the same thing we do with mantra meditation. So when I say 10 minutes, just focus on the mantra, still we go through an issue of certain things coming into our mind. Yeah, everyone faces this, right? And this is normal. This is normal. You take the feedback, you chant your mantras. I'm not expecting you all to completely focus on your mantra today itself. It takes years of practice. The Krishna also says it is only by abhyasa, practice. Abhyasa, he says, practice. 1 year, 2 years, don't think that you will be an expert in this. It's a constant practice because lifetime after lifetime, you have never done this. We have had so many samskaras, so many impressions in our mind, it will not let us do it. Because actually we are fighting against the mind right now. Right? So every time a pop-up, every time a thought comes into our head, we actually park that thought. Just like we cross the pop-ups that come while we surf the internet. Just like that, we park the thought. And when you do that on a regular basis, our mind is configured in a way that it only focus on the mantra. Do that on a daily basis. Chanting 1 round, chanting 2 rounds. When you do that on a daily basis, you see how your mind gets focused. And that is called mantra meditation. Don't think it is very simple. Though Lord has given this simple formula, because we can't meditate for 100 years or 200 years. Because when Lord said that when Lord was talking about dhyana yoga to Arjuna, that you have to go have a kushagra, sit on the kushagra, meditate between your nose, right? And there are so many things Lord said you are supposed to do. And you know what Arjuna said? This is very difficult for me. Arjuna said this is very difficult for me. There are so many spiritual organizations when we actually go for meditation class, After 5 minutes, you can hear people snoring. From your left and your right, you will hear snoring voice. Because practically, this is not meant for this age. It is not meant for this age. That's why Lord says in Bhagavatam, Kritaya dhyayato Vishnu, Tretayo yajato makhe, Dwapare paricharyam, Kalotar harikirtana. Kritaya dhyayato Vishnu, in Satya Yuga, it was dhyanam on Vishnu. Treta, it was yajato makhe, it was yajna that we are supposed to do. Dwapare paricharyam, elaborate deity worship in the temple in Dwapar Yuga. And Kali Yuga, it is Hari Kirtana. And Krishna says, this will give you the same benefit that your people have done in different yugas. Now we need to have the conviction. When Krishna says this will give you the benefit, we need to have the conviction. It is the most practical method. It is the most practical method in Kali Yuga. Age of quarrel and hypocrisy. It is not very easy to concentrate or meditate even for 5 minutes. It's so difficult. It's such a difficult process. Chanting the Mahamantra is comparatively easy. But when you get deep, there also be faith issues. But we have to start somewhere. How many of you are chanting on a daily basis? The rest of you all, this is an ideal time to actually chant. It is Kartik month. There is no, it is auspicious to chant the Lord's name any day. But it's more auspicious when you start it in the month of Kartik. Like I mentioned in the scriptures, it is said, whatever you do, devotional activities, whatever you do, it comes 10,000 times, 1,000 times, multiples back into your life. So if you're not chanting, chant on a daily basis. 24 hours Lord has given us. Aham kalosmi, He says, I am time. 10 minutes we can't take out for the Lord. 10 minutes, that's all. Now if we say that we are too busy, you know Alfred Ford, the owner of the Ford company, he chants 16 rounds. He manages the entire Ford company. He takes out time and does this. And if we say we don't have 10 minutes, I will tell you we are not managing time well. Everyone has time. It's just that we don't manage time well. I talked about, no, if it's a priority, you will do it. If it's not a priority for you, you will not do it. You will find your mind will give you excuses. How many of you snooze your alarm clock in the morning? How many? All of us. Today morning I did. I was just telling my wife, from 6 o'clock I was snoozing it till 6:30. Why? Why do we do that? Mind is telling us, you're tired. You're tired, Baba, you sleep. And what does intelligence do? Intelligence is planning to make that happen. Because mind is controlling, na? Right now. Mind is controlling. 5 मिनट और सो जा, क्या हो जाएगा? क्लास तो 11 बजे है. पूजा तो थोड़ी देर बाद भी कर सकते हैं. Keep on snoozing, keep on snoozing. We are letting mind win every time. Do you know that? We're letting mind win every time. So all the spiritual practices that we do on a daily basis will help you control the mind. We'll get to that. I think I get caught. Stress and anxiety. Everyone goes through stress and anxiety. Can anyone tell who's not going through? Please. I'll need some classes from you. Who is not going through stress and anxiety? Anybody? See, everyone is going through stress and anxiety. Everyone goes through stress and anxiety. Our small kids, our kids actually go through stress and anxiety. You know that? In the school, when they're playing with their friends, everyone goes through it. In our work life, in our family life, everyone goes through this. I'll tell you something. I just heard this from one of the senior devotees who stays in Boston. He said there are dog psychiatrists in Boston. Dog psychiatrists in Boston. Can you imagine? Dogs, कुत्ते को stress हो गया. And they have dog psychiatrists. So what happens is they buy the dog when they're a puppy, and the dog is all good, and the master is a crazy guy. So living with this crazy fellow, dog has become crazy, and it's a booming business in Boston. Booming business. Even when they go back to the shopkeeper, the shopkeeper said, "When I give you, कुत्ता तो अच्छा था, आपके पास रह के मेरे को पता नहीं क्या हो गया." It's a booming business. Dog psychiatry. In US, 1 out of 3 people have a psychiatrist. You know that? 1 out of 3. Can you imagine what the ratio is? My God. Isn't it alarming? It's alarming. My God. Dogs need psychiatrists. So I was talking about this previously when in our Vedic culture, you go 200, 300 years back, 100 years back also, there was no concept of depression, psychiatry. People were very alien to these names. Great grandfather, if you ask them, they will not know about this. You know why? Because they had a certain life, spiritual life that they were leading. One of the ways that Britishers entered was because they knew that Vedic culture is so strong, it's very difficult to beat the Sanatanis in this. They had to break the Vedic culture. We'll talk about that in the next sessions. It's a very interesting session. How actually the Britishers or the invaders came and broke our culture, and how actually they fed in the Western civilization into our head. Because before that, they couldn't do anything. Because people were very happy. Morning they will do their spiritual practices, then they go to their work, finish it, then they do spiritual practices with their family at home. It was so strong. Something called as depression or stress or anxiety never bothered them. I'm just talking about 100, 150 years back. Imagine thousands of years back. That's how people were, how strong they were. Right? Now, there is one nice shloka. There are a lot of stress and anxiety that we talk about, and we actually say that it's because of a certain person also. Family member, wife, husband, kids, boss. We blame it on everyone. Do we? There is a nice shloka from Bhagavatam. It says, Nayam jano sukadurka hetu na devatatma grah karma kala mana parama karanam amananti. Yeah? Mana param karanam amananti. So in this shloka, it is there, Nayam jano. It is not because of the people that I get sukha dukkha, distress or happiness. Later I realized, na devatatma. It is not because of gods also. It is not because of devatas. It is not because of any demigod. Na graha karma kala. Na graha. Rahu, Ketu, Shani hum pe dekh raha hai. All this. No. It's not because of any graha. Not because of any karma. Past karmas. No. Na kala. Not because of time. It is mana parama karana. It is our mind. The Bhagavatam says this. It is not, we can say that this particular person is very negative. This particular person is very negative. Now it is completely up to us how we want to deal with that particular person. They say no, happiness is within you. You agree to that? It is within us. It is how we deal with the situation. Our mind is such an important factor. So it says, Shastra says, it's mana parama karanam. Nothing else. No people, no graha, karma, kala, no devata, nothing. These are not the things that is actually affecting our happiness and distress. It's only mana. So mind is a friend or enemy? Controlled mind is a friend and uncontrolled mind is a enemy. So let's look at this shloka. Please repeat after me. Bandhuratmanastasya Yanat Maitvatmana Chita Chita अनत्मनस्तु शत्रुत्वे वर्तेत्मैव शत्रुवत्. Can someone read the translation, please?
For him who has conquered the mind, mind is the strength. But for one who has failed to do so, mind is the way.
Thank you so much. So this is what Lord Krishna says, that one who has conquer the mind is the best of friends. But one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy. Right? So currently our mind is acting like a friend. It is just like we have a war. Today we have a war. I'm fighting against our neighboring countries who cause problems. Right? And imagine there is someone from our military, from my regime itself, who is actually planning to plant a bomb under our bunker only. That is what our mind does. That is what our mind does. So that is what Krishna says, that one who has conquered the mind is the best of friends, and one who has not conquered will remain the greatest enemy. So let's get into the uncontrolled mind. Right? Uncontrolled mind. We spoke about uncontrolled mind, right? Right? We spoke about, when I talk about chanting also, a lot of people actually think, आज क्यों करना है, कल करेंगे. प्रभु जी जब बोलेंगे संडे करेंगे, बाकी के 5-6 दिन छुट्टी. Right? The mind will constantly throw, when it's actually about spirituality, right? Mind will constantly throw obstacles at you. You see, Sunday 11 बजे आज जाना है कि नहीं जाना है? There is a movie that has come out, maybe you can watch that. There's a new restaurant that has come up, maybe you can go there. So many things mind will throw. The last moment we think, okay, chalo nikalte. Does that happen? Sure it happens. Lot of times we think. Right? Even when we go to, even when we actually think, we see the kind of impression the mind is taking us. So when we go to watch a movie, we constantly think about that movie, that particular day. If it is a very nice movie, we constantly think about that movie on that particular day, what hero did, heroine did, the plot and all that. Right? Does that happen when you actually go and take darshan of the Lord? Do you think about the Lord the whole day? Do you? You see his lotus face, lotus feet. Do you think about it? Do you meditate on it? You don't. Right? That's past life samskara. How is actually past life samskara is actually what it does is fuels us more to get into those activities. So now we have to actually change the way we are working. And I'll tell you how we can actually help change our mindset, change how we can control our mind. Right? Chanchala hi mana Krishna Pramati balavat dridham tasyaham nigraham manye vayor ivasmu dushkaram. Can someone read the translation, please? Controlling mind. So nice. So in this, and Lord is actually speaking about the various things that you can do. And Arjuna says the mind is so difficult to control. It is even difficult to control than the wind. Chanchala. Mind is restless. I told how Chanchala. I gave you an example of the monkey, right? Constantly restless. That is how mind is. Balavat dridam. It's strong and obstinate. Very difficult to control, Krishna. Arjuna says. Very difficult. Have you seen, when we go out, we take our kids in our car, right? When you are driving, a lot of times the kids, small kids, they are actually, if they see ice cream parlor, they say, Papa, ice cream parlor. Papa, toy shop. And we are driving. Papa, there is something nice, very nice fair, we should go there. He's constantly throwing his fingers at it. And what will happen if I keep looking? I'll meet with an accident. So these are temptations. We are talking about temptations that keep coming to us. I want this, but do I really need this? So that thought will come when we actually start controlling our mind. Otherwise, we'll give it everything that you see. A similar example, right? I'll give you a simple example. Everyone watches cricket. Everyone watches cricket, right? Now there is a bowler who actually bowls and there is leg before wicket, and he appeals. How's that? And the umpire raises his hand, right? And given out. Now everyone knows cricket, right? You have to understand how you take a wicket, it has in swing and it's going to the wicket, how big the wicket is, how small the wicket is, if the ball is turning inside, if the leg was right before the wicket, right? You should understand. The umpire should know. Now if a bowler, he does the bowling and he appeals for everything. How was that? How was that? What if the umpire lists for everything? Out, out. What do you tell? What kind of umpire is he? पागल है क्या? सब अपील में out दे रहा है? You'll tell, no? So that's what is happening to us. That's the same example that I gave. Every time the kid shows, ice cream parlor, हाँ यहाँ चलते हैं. A restaurant, हाँ यहाँ चलते हैं. Every time you see, because you are giving it up for your temptations. We have no regulation in our life. We have to regulate. No? Somewhere we have to regulate, keep a balance between everything. That is not there at all. So constantly we are giving it towards temptations. Just like the umpire who gives out for every appeal that your mind does. Every appeal that mind does, out, out, out. That's how mind works. That's why Arjuna says, Chanchala, very restless. We spoke about it. Even scientifically also, 80,000 thoughts. My God, I can't even imagine I have that many thoughts in a day. 80,000 thoughts. No. The mind can drive us crazy. And this is a video actually. That's how mind is so restless. Can you see that? That's like Krishna says, Arjuna says, very obstinate. Balavad Dridam. Very obstinate, very strong, very stubborn, very difficult to control. Now, current situation. I'll tell you, everyone knows this analogy. We spoke about this analogy. Everyone remembers this? What is it? Can you all tell me? Now that you have attended 5 or 6 classes, now you should all be able to tell me. What does this, the 5 houses, what does it mean? 5 senses. Okay. What is the rope or the rein? What does it mean? Mind. And the one who's controlling the intelligence. One who's seated. Soul. And what is the ratha? What is it? Body. Very nice. Currently, what is the situation? Mind. So, there is no intelligence that is holding the rope. So, when there is no intelligence that is holding the rope, which is the rope is the mind, the senses are running here and there. It is said in Shastras, the senses are just like snakes. You put 10 snakes in a box and you open the box. What will happen? 10 snakes will go 10 different directions. So when there is no control, the mind will let the senses wander in 10 different directions. How do we make it strong? How do we make the mind, how do we control, how do we become the master of the mind? Anybody has any idea? I would like to hear if you have heard something. Which one? Mantra meditation, okay. Controlling breath, okay. Which one? Desires, okay. Controlling desire. Sorry? Someone said something? Inquire. Think before acting, okay. Sukha Dukh Samabhava. That's a little more deeper actually. We have to get to that stage. Equipoised, whatever happens. Which one was it? Live in present. Okay. Listen to shloka every day. Very nice. Very nice. All nice answers. We'll actually get to it. Right? So we all know our condition right now, right? Everyone knows why the mind takes our senses to 10 different directions? Because our intelligence is not strong. So we'll get to this. So this is waking up alarm thing. I just spoke to you about this. Every one of us actually snoozes. Right? 6 o'clock alarm, 6:30 we wake up. Snooze, snooze, snooze. 5 different times we snooze. That's the same thing mind tells us. Every time we go to chant, our mind tells us, it's okay, we can chant in the evening. It's okay, we can chant in the afternoon. We don't have a specific time to chant. We don't have a regular habit to chant. So the mind tricks us. Mind tricks us and intelligence makes the opportunity or works on that plan. That's what is happening with us. So, who feels that mind has actually become our master? Who all feel? Who serverless? Other all are controlled human beings? My God. You should be giving a class. Come on, who feels the mind is controlling us? Let's be honest. Everyone agrees. Yes? Everyone agrees the mind is controlling us. In our daily life, we actually see what all activities we do. We'll actually be able to tell us the mind is actually controlling us. Now, let's look at from Bhagavad Gita. Indriyani parani ahur Indrebhya param mana Manasastu para buddhir Yo buddhe paratastu sa. So here, the Lord is actually giving us the hierarchy as to how it works. We spoke about it. The working senses are superior to dull matter. The table is the dull matter. The working senses are superior to that. Okay? And superior to that is mind is higher than the senses. And what is higher than the mind? And what is higher than the intelligence? Soul. So you saw the hierarchy that the Lord is giving us? So ideally, what should actually control the mind? Intelligence should control the mind. So let's look at how intelligence can control the mind. How to control the mind. Okay? So making intelligence strong, you all gave me very nice examples. So one of the main things is actually by reading scriptures. Our intelligence becomes very strong. We will be able to discriminate what is right and what is wrong. Again, I told you, mind works on two things. That is, likes and right. What it likes, it accepts. What it dislikes, it rejects. And what does intelligence work on? Discrimination. What is right and what is wrong. So if you actually ask anyone, they will give you 100 different opinions. According to me, according to my opinion, this is all wrong. So the right information you get it from the scriptures. That's where we actually make our intelligence very strong. Right? Let's look into it. I'll give you actually a nice acronym to actually help you. Everyone knows chant, right? So I'll give you a nice acronym that you can take home today. You can write it down. And so C, I'll tell you. The first acronym, C for chanting. Regularly chanting. Now when I say regularly chanting, you should all give it time. Time is very important. If you say that tomorrow I will chant, that tomorrow, that chanting will happen either in the morning, afternoon or evening. Again, your mind will trick you. So you should make sure that you have a particular time to chant. Like I told, if you do it on a regular basis, it becomes a habit. I constantly tell this because this is something that I struggle also. The constant battle that we have with the mind. That tomorrow, so when we have a set agenda, like a timetable, we follow it. What is the first thing that we do when we get up? We brush. We do that, right? It becomes like an instinct. That same thing chanting should become. I told you how important chanting is. As per Srimad Bhagavatam, chanting is the Yuga Dharma. Why do we focus on that? Because it is the Yuga Dharma. We don't need to focus on anything else. So we should take this chanting as very important. So for the people who have not started chanting it, it is the right time because it is Kartik. It is Damodar Mas. So start chanting. It has only benefits. Right? So first thing is chanting. Keep a specific time. Give 10 minutes to the Lord. 10 minutes is all he asks. Now I told you, if you prioritize this, the rest everything. I told you there are so many benefits of chanting, materially and spiritually. It will help you focus also. It will help you materially focus on your work. You will be more productive. You will be more efficient. Right? Then what is H? H stands for hearing. Hearing lectures, hearing in such a group, hearing from scriptures. It is so important because this will actually make us very strong. Our intelligence will become very strong. Hearing from scriptures is very important. If I hear from any Tom, Dick and Harry, it won't help me because according to it, because his senses are limited. There are 4 defects in a human being. Senses are very limited. He is easily illusioned. He commits mistakes and he has propensity to cheat. This is normal for any human being. So that's why it is said that you listen from scriptures because it is called apaurushiya. It is not written by any normal human being. Right? Krishna says in Bhagavatam that Vyasadeva is his literary incarnation. So that's why it said that we need to learn from scriptures to make our intelligence strong. So C is for, H is for, A is for what? Association. I told you, we are what? We associate with people, 5 people. That is the average quality that we have. 5 people. Every business school actually talks about this. So we need to be very careful about choosing our association. If we have decided to be on this particular path, we need to associate with like-minded people. It is very important. If you see our daily life, 8 to 9 hours we are actually spending with a lot of materialistic people. And it's only Sunday, 1 hour we actually give it for this. So it's not very easy for us. We all have work to do. So it's not very practical for us to come every time to the center and hear from a lecture. But you can do it at home, whenever you have time. Shloka a day app you have. Please listen to that. Chanting, you can do this. All these things are in your control. So association is very important. Association is very important in a spiritual path. If you feel I can do it on my own, you will feel it 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you're out. That's how the mind is. I've seen so many of them. So many. When we started off Gita course, you know how many people were there? We didn't have place here. More than 200 people were there. Today, based because we have festivals and all, again, the count has I wouldn't say successfully, count has reduced. Count has reduced. I shouldn't be using that word. Count has reduced. You know why? The mind tricked them. I can learn this from somewhere else. I can learn this from YouTube. But association is so important. If I'm here giving you a session today, it is only because of association. It is only because there are so many flaws in me, but one thing I was trying to do was associate. Always try and hear. That is very important. So association is very important. What does N stand for? Saying no to temptations. Negate temptations. Just like every time you say, less like the umpire who gives out on everything that mind throws at you. When you do this on a periodic basis, on a regular basis, hearing and associating, your mind will be controlled by the intelligence. It will tell you, is it good? Do you want it or do you need it? It will discriminate. Otherwise, it will only the mind who will actually tell you do this and do that. You may need to make your discrimination power strong. All that I told is very important. So N is, again tell me, C stands for? H stands for? A stands for? N stands for? T stands for? To think about Krishna. To think about Krishna. There's a nice sloka from 6th chapter, 47th verse. Can someone remind me that sloka? Can someone do Bhakti Yoga about that sloka? Krishna says which is superior. Anyone knows that sloka? I forgot. Just give me the start. Not about Mukta. That's 5th chapter. 6th chapter, 47th sloka. 6.47, Mataji. Can someone? Yoginam api sarvesham madgatenteratmanah shraddhavan bhajate yomam tame mukta tamo mata. Same yukta tamo mata. Krishna says, mold your life in such a way that you think about me. Then 7th chapter, Maya Sakta Manapartha, he says, always think about me. 8th chapter, Mam Anusmara Yudhyacha. Whatever you do, think of me. Yudhyacha, while you're fighting, think of me. Anusmara. So whatever you do, your daily activities, while you're working, while you're cooking, mold your life in a way that you are only thinking about Krishna. 9th chapter, Manmana Madbhakto. Madhya Jivam Namastu. So again, think about me. Constantly Krishna. Why is he telling us? Is he gaining anything out of it? It is for our benefit. It is for our benefit. To constantly mold our life in such a way that we think about Krishna. So when we constantly think about Krishna, it will also help you. So why do we people wear dhoti, kurta and tilak? There is one reason that people wear a lot of this also. Because we won't do any bad activities. Right? When you're wearing a tilak, we are very conscious about what you are doing. Isn't that right? That is actually molding ourselves. These are all help us mold our life. It is not very easy to think about Krishna because we have not done it. Constantly, lifetime after lifetime, we have been engrossed in material activities. I spoke about the 4 activities that we do. What is that? Eating, sleeping, mating and defending. These are the things that we have done lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. In between this, we have to get Krishna. It's very difficult. I agree it's very difficult. But it's not impossible. There are people who have done it. Right? And we are all here, we are all like-minded people. We all walking the path of spirituality. We are actually holding each other's hands and helping each other. And it's very important to do that. Here is a place where there are no judgments. Because everyone knows everyone is a patient. Srila Prabhupada calls ISKCON a hospital. And there are different degrees of patients who get admitted. Some who are very ill, some are slightly getting better, some are cured. So we are all patients only. You don't need to worry. Everyone's degree is a little different, that's the only thing. Some are very sick. We need to help everyone. Right? A lot of people say that ISKCON, when you talk about ISKCON, right? A lot of people say, Prabhuji, आपको जितना पैसा मिले आप मंदिर बना देते हो. Hospital क्यों नहीं बनाते? Well, nobody is disagreeing that hospital should be there. Hospital is important. But we have many hospitals. But hospital, what happens? Hospitals, you make yourself better. And ultimately, we want to be happy. Right? What does mandir do? What does mandir mean? It is a hospital for mind. So whatever you have, all the wealth, all the positions that you have, but like I said, we have guided missiles and misguided men in this age. So whatever resources we have, we don't know how to use it. It is good to earn money. It is good to be educated. But you should know what to do with it. That's why we say misguided men. And mandir or a center like this, yes, ultimately leads to happiness. A center like this will help you, guide you as to how you should use your resources. It'll make you more compassionate. So nobody is against you making money. Come, renounce yourself and sit here. Come into the Vyasas and start giving lectures. No, everybody has to deal. सबको काम करना है, पैसे कमाओ, but don't forget a balance, that spirituality is needed. Otherwise, because like how a train runs on two tracks, same way materialism and spirituality should run. But now, what now is happening is we are running on one track and we'll topple any moment. Imagine a train running on one track. We'll topple any moment. So you need both. So it's very important. And spirituality, though spirituality, we won't help you how to make money. I won't tell you how to make money. But I'll tell you what you can do with that money. How you can benefit other people. How you can use it in the right way. That is very important. That no school teachers will teach you. Geography won't teach you. Maths won't teach you. Anything you go back to your material education, it won't teach you. How to control your mind. Did we have any kind of education in our school? No, we didn't have. So it's very important for our kids also to learn. They have so much stress in the school. So as parents, first we need to learn, we need to practice, and then we need to help our kids. Change starts at home. We constantly want other people to change. That is not in our control. Constantly we are telling them, वो ऐसा करता है, ये ऐसा करता है, वो change हो जाए तो कितना अच्छा होता है. लेकिन अपना सुनो ना, अपना देखो ना, हम लोग कितना change हो रहे हैं. दूसरों की बुराई करते रहेंगे, लेकिन खुद का नहीं देखेंगे. So change begins at home. That is very important. That's how it starts. Every one of us, if we start at home, imagine how the world, such a beautiful place the world will be. Right? So when you're angry, there are a couple of things that, there are so many analogies given in scriptures. When you're angry, I think there are 4 animals that is told. There's something called as hagfish. The hagfish, you know what hagfish does when you're angry? When he's attacked, it throws out slimy substances. Slimy substances, very dirty substances. That's the same thing that we do when we are in angry. Worst things come out of our mouth. I told you about the different mantras that come out of our mouth, right? Which is not in scriptures. That is what we behave like hagfish. The second one is what? We behave like an electric eel. Before the attacker attacks, we attack. So we sometimes act like electric eel also. And there is another. Sometimes we act like explosive ants. You know what explosive ants does? So someone is very constantly nagging and irritating you. It keeps all the feelings inside. It doesn't tell it out and ultimately explodes. So many of us keep stress, anxiety, so many depression, so many things inside without speaking to others. Ultimately explodes. Who is it? Ultimately, who is getting harmed? It's the explosive ant. Right? So it's the 3 different creatures that I spoke about. What Srila Prabhupada tells us, when we are actually in an agitating situation, what are we supposed to do for our benefit? Be like a tortoise, he says. What does tortoise do when it's been attacked? Pulls its limbs, goes back into the protective shell. And once the thing is over, once it's safe, it comes out and walks away. Now what happens is when we are in a situation, talk about road rage, a lot of it happens road rage, right? When we are in road rage, if someone hits our car, we get out, we start fighting, we start throwing our fists, legs, abusing. That's what happens. Even in our family, relatives, friends, we just start fighting and just in that moment of time. And we know at a certain point we should not be doing it, but we still continue. Do you agree? Most of us have what is coming out of my mouth, this is hurting that particular person. And we all regret it later. We all regret it later. You all agree? When you are angry, you speak out the worst things from your mouth, and at a later point you feel that I shouldn't have told all these things. Scriptures will actually help you how to control your mind. There's a day that you give it time, don't respond. Don't react, respond later. There's a certain cooling time you should give yourself. And when you give it time, the anger reduces. That's practical. Give it time, anger reduces. And then you will come up with suggestions which is beneficial. Or else when you're angry, you're not thinking. So the worst things come out of your head and you regret what you spoke. Right? Small thing in the chanting is mantra meditation is so important. It will help you focus your mind. Reading from scriptures will help you as to discriminate, as to speak when to speak and when not to speak. Right? So that's very important. Make the intelligence strong, clear the previous impressions. How do you clear the previous impressions? See, we have been living our materialistic life. So many things we have been doing. Earning money from various ways, hurting people, past life samskaras, पिछले जन्म में पता नहीं क्या क्या किया है हम लोगों ने. So when you squeeze an orange, what comes out? Orange juice. When you squeeze banana, what comes out? Banana juice. Why when you squeeze an orange juice, banana juice doesn't come out? Because what is there inside will only come out, right? So when you put a person in a very agitating situation, what is there inside in him only will come out. So in our head, in our mind, we have so many dirty things in our mind. So when we are faced in when we are put in an agitating situation, only that thing will come out. So what we need to do? There's a small example that I tell you. You keep a bowl, right? The red things, all the bad things that we do on a regular basis, all we have done. And the white balls, there is red balls and there is white balls, right? And white balls are when we are in the path of spirituality, we are trying to add good things in our life. Chanting mantra, listening to a nice session, reading Bhagavad Gita, reading Bhagavatam, attending sessions, singing Kirtan, dancing in Kirtan, taking darshan of the Lord. These are all white balls. So in our life, which is complete with red balls, you are starting to add white balls, white balls, white balls, white balls. So when we put our hand in that, what is the probability that we will get white balls? It is more. It is more. You all agree? Because we are constantly adding on a daily basis. We are adding all these devotional activities that we are doing. All the previous impressions that we have, we are actually putting it down by putting new samskaras. So when life squeezes us, when we are in agitating situation, what will come out? White ball will come out. Otherwise, red ball will come out and we will regret. You all agree to this? So a spiritual place or a mandir is a hospital for the mind. It will help you. And it is required. It is required at this day and age. It is so much required. So much required. You know what they say? I think there was a let me just complete this. Give positive engagement to our mind. That's what we are all doing. So I will request you all to do it on a regular basis also. Because if you want to make it a habit, you have to do it on a regular basis. Not just Sunday. Sunday, only one day habit is not good. Every day you should have this habit. Chastise the mind. Chastise means scold the mind. And you can only do that when your intelligence is strong. No, I won't do it. Gulab jamun, I have sugar. Gulab jamun, I won't eat. How much ever it tempts, I won't eat. You know when you go into a takeaway restaurant, for example, I'm just giving an example. I want to eat burger today. So much temptation is there for me to eat burger today. I go into this particular shop. I go into this takeaway. I'm driving in, and there are 50 cars ahead of me. You know what the mind will tell? छोड़ देते हैं. दाल चावल खा लेते हैं. So that's what we need to do. Keep things inaccessible. Keep things inaccessible for the mind. And every time you do this, the mind gets trained. The mind gets trained. The more you indulge in this, the mind again goes back to the same old fashion. So keep yourself away from it. Try maximum. That's why you say associate with people who are on the spiritual path, who also want to grow with you. Because if you are going wrong, they will tell you. We are all here as a family, as friends. We are here to better our lives. You all agree? We are here to better our life. I'm not preaching something that you have to go tomorrow bomb someplace. No, I'm not teaching you that. Yeah, so that's very important. Chastise the mind. Power of mantra meditation. We all know about this. Mindful meditation, focused meditation, progressive relaxation, visualizing meditation. So all these are different kinds of meditation that we speak. This is I'll not go through this. Okay. Okay. So today, one of the important takeaways I gave you the acronym chant. So that's very important. You please focus on that. Every day, see if you have actually gone through every aspect in some way. Right? And when you do that, when you refer your book and go through this, did I do this as per Prabhuji, you are actually molding a life. Right? So let's try and do that. Okay? It is going to be difficult. I'm 100% there. I'm so sure it's going to be difficult. I'm not telling you today only you'll start doing everything that I said. But we have to start somewhere. We have to start somewhere. The progress is when you actually, what is progress? Not reaching the ultimate destination. Progress is where compare yourself from what you were yesterday. That is one of the reasons people have stress also. They feel that we have not reached their ideal and they compare themselves in that way. That is not the way you compare. So you see where I am today, next week where I am. Have I got better? Or I am still lagging behind? Or I've got worse? We have to be very conscious about all this. Very conscious. Even for practitioners who are doing it on a regular basis, this is very important for us as well. Constantly thinking where we are at this particular moment. In spiritual progress, that is very important. Just compare to what yourself to what you were yesterday. That is more important. And if you feel that I've done something better than yesterday, that's progress. Give yourself a pat in the back. Okay? So please do mantra meditation. It's very important. Like I spoke about the Kartik month, it's very important. Today it is Damodar Mas, one whole month, started on 17th of October till 15th of November. Lord is so merciful that anything that you do, small thing that you do in devotional services, multifold benefits. So Damodar, in this month, we actually dedicate it to Damodar. That is the form of the Lord that you worship in this particular month. So we have a big photograph of the Lord, and we have to offer diya to the Lord, ghee diya, which we'll be giving it to you. And the way we offer it, 4 times at the lotus feet, circumambulate 4 times at the lotus feet, 2 times near the belly area, 3 times at his lotus face, and 7 times whole body. 4, 2, 3, and 7. 4, 2, 3, and 7. If you have a Damodar picture at home, please take out a printout. You can get it framed, and please do this at home on a daily basis. Right? It is said in Shastra that the best thing to offer is the lamp to the Lord. Isn't this something that we all can do? Anyone can do. Right? So please do this. It's the month of Damodar, so please do this, and it will only benefit you. It will help you to think about Krishna. Like I said, the tea to mold our life. This 1 month, be very focused and see what happens afterwards. If you daily offer lamp to Lord, we'll all meet after 1 month. I'm here only, and you tell me how it works, how it has helped you. This particular chapter. Okay, so I'll stop this. I just wanted to know if you have any questions. If you have any questions, 5 minutes I'll take for questions. Thank you all for coming. I know it's holiday time. Most of you would have plans, but still you made time for this particular session. I'm very thankful. Thank you so much. Any questions? Yes, please.
Chanting, right? Can you explain how to do it properly?
Okay. Okay.
Basically, how to improve the chanting.
Okay.
For the Hare Krishna, Well, I need to train then that's a better way.
Okay, okay. Very nice question. It's very important. When I say chanting, we should know how to chant also. Because I noticed last time that many of us actually don't know how to chant. Okay. So let me tell you, the first thing I'll tell you about the beads, how to use the beads. So these are beads, right? And when we recite our first prayer, which is Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhaktivinda, you will actually chant on this particular bead, which is called the Krishna bead. Okay? And then you hold it in this way, your middle finger holding it, and then you pull the bead towards you. Every chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That is one name of the Lord. One name of the Lord. I have seen a lot of people Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. They keep on going, and then 108, you finished it in 2 minutes. Ideally, it should take 8 to 10 minutes. That's how you chant. Every bead, you chant the 16-syllable mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That is one time. Then you pull it towards you. Okay? Everyone's watching it? You pull it towards you. And then you reach the 108 round. Now, see, the way scriptures has mentioned that this is the ideal way to chant. Now, when we have an ideal way, it is nice to chant the ideal way and not say what will happen if you do the other way. Certainly, if you chant the Lord's name, it has got so much potency anyways, right? But when we go to school, what do? We wear a uniform. We don't ask what will happen if I don't wear a uniform, right? We don't do that. That everything has a certain way of doing it, right? So if you chant Ulta also, there are some benefits. But if you want to get the maximum benefit, do it the way the scriptures have told you. Right? Yes. So it's very important. And you asked another question about what do we think when we are chanting. So it is said in mantra meditation, you only concentrate on the sound vibration that are coming out of your mouth. You don't need to think about the form of the Lord. It is said that when you reach a certain stage of spiritual maturity, only every syllable that you Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Just focus on the mantra. Only vibration. That's all. Constantly focus sound vibration. That is more than in Shastra. It is said, Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhava Davami Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhava Davami Nirvapanam Shreya Kairavaka Chandrika Vidya Vidya Vadu Jivanam. So it is said Cheto Darpana Marjanam. Every time you chant, the mantra is actually cleaning the dust from your heart. Every time it's cleaning the dust. You become more and more purified. But you have to chant in the way that is mentioned in Shastra. So that's very important. Just by chanting, it will give you the benefit. But if you want to reap the ultimate benefit, do as the scriptures say. That is mantra meditation. Just hear the sound vibrations that are coming out of your mouth. That's all. And you said, the Lord also said in Bhagavatam that you don't need to worry about my form. Ultimately, I will reveal it to you. So you don't need to worry. Yeah? Any other questions? Yes. It is said that the best time to chant is Brahma Muhurta. Brahma Muhurta is 1.5 hours before the sunrise. Ideally, that is the best time. But a lot of us are Grihasthas, it's very difficult. But I have seen some Grihasthas who actually, there is Niren Prabhuji. I don't know if he's here. I know Niren Prabhuji, I think Arun Prabhuji also. They all chant in the Brahma Muhurta time. So 4:30 AM. That's the best time to chant actually. But as Grihasthas, there is no problem. There is no set rules as to when you have to chant. So that's why it's called Mahamantra, but it is not Desha Kala Patra. It is not related to that. So you can chant anytime. But ideally, it is said that Brahma Muhurta is the best time because ideally everything is peaceful at that point of time. If you are a family man, kid is sleeping, your office calls won't come at that particular time. Your direct relationship with God, not many of the people are actually waking up Lord and disturbing Lord. मेरे को ये चाहिए, मेरे को वो चाहिए. So it's a direct connection with the Lord at that particular 4:30 कोई उठता ही नहीं है. So हम जैसे थोड़े वैष्णव है वो जो उठेंगे और प्रार्थना करेंगे तो Lord will also. That's what they say. But Lord is actually listening to everyone. But ideally 4:30 is the time, because that anything you start in the day, it will actually help you also. It will make you spiritually very strong. It's like a covering, and then you go into the material world of working, right? When you're going to meet your material friends and all that. So this spiritual mantra will actually help you. In the beginning of the day, it will act like a protection. So ideally it is at 4:30, but it's okay. Not many times I don't do it at 4:30 because I work at night. So Brahma Muhurta time is when I sleep. So don't worry about that. So but whenever I get up in the morning, 6:30, 7 o'clock, I get up in the morning and I chant my rounds, right? So whatever based on your capacity. So for now, just based on your capacity, start chanting. That is more important. Start chanting and do it in the right way. That's more important. Okay? Any other question, Mataji? What is the reason? No, there is no specific reason. So if you see, we read the sloka, right? Bhumi rapu nalo vayu kam mano buddhi evacha. So Lord has given us so many things in our life, right? Fire, air, water, ether. And these are all the merciful nature of the Lord that He's given it for free. He doesn't charge us, right? Our government charges us for electricity, everything. So what we are doing is it's a way of gratitude that we show to Lord. Even when we offer Lord the fire, that is something that the Lord has given us. It's a way of gratitude that we offer it to the Lord. Right? Whatever we. So that is the way we'll actually get into detail as to when we do Aarti, what we do, certain things, right? We do more punk. We offer the Pancha Aarti to the Lord, right? We do the Chamar. Why we do all that? So that will come in a session called Rituals, the science behind ritual. And we'll go into detailed explanation as to why. You'll get a better understanding there. Okay? So please don't miss all these sessions. It is wonderful. You will get to know. See, there are kids who will ask you why you do this. Your kids will ask you why you do this. What is the reason behind it? And if you don't have an answer, they will not do it. You should have a scientific answer as to how it will help them to understand why we do what we do. Yes, sir.
These rituals one to read. They are written Gita
Yes, yes. It is Bhagavad Gita that you need to do, right? A lot of people say that we need to read Vedas, right? So you have to understand, to read Vedas and to become an expert in Vedas, it takes more than 35 to 40 years. 35 to 40 years. Do you all know how much we live? Can you give me a number? Anyone? 10? 20? Till 80. You're sure, Mataji, you will live till 80? Healthy person also, accident can happen anytime. We no guarantee. Shastra say immediately, this is the right time. You get out of the center, do we know we'll live? We'll get to see another day? Nobody can guarantee. No, nobody. So it's very important to understand that to start off, Bhagavad Gita is the most important. So Bhagavad Gita is called Gita Upanishad also. So it is said in the Shastras, the Vedas is like the cow, right? And Arjuna is like the calf. And Krishna is the covered bird who is actually giving us the knowledge, which is the milk. So that's why Gita is called the Gita Upanishad. So to start off, Gita is very important. To understand Gita also takes time, right? It is not very easy to understand Gita. Though it is 700 shlokas, it has got so deeper meaning in the 700 shlokas that we have. The people who have read it 10 to 15 times, they are deepening their realization every time they read it. Every time. Every year they read it. It's a deeper realization that we get. So to start off, Bhagavad Gita is very important because it is spoken by the Lord Himself. Eko Shastra Devaki Putra Gitam. That's what Shankaracharya says. Eko Shastra Devaki Putra Gitam. Who is Devaki Putra? What is the Gita? Bhagavad Gita. Song sung by the Devaki Putra. So all the Acharyas also say that Bhagavad Gita is the one that you should start off. And most of your questions that is there in life, we will solve by Bhagavad Gita. It's a life manual. It's got everything that you need to do, you need to learn. So start off with Bhagavad Gita. I'll take one more question.
Impressions.
Uh-huh.
Yes, about the somewhere to the saying India that can be like a often but one that happens only will pass that is the thing. But Bhagavad Gita, I understood but that.
So one thing you have to understand is Kali Kale Naam Rupa Krishna Avatara Dikse. In Kali Yuga, Naam is Krishna Avatar himself. Kali Kale Naam Rupa. So when we are actually, it is not an ordinary thing that we are doing. For an external person, it will look like what this person is chanting. It is not like chanting Coca-Cola, 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 Pepsi, Pepsi, Pepsi. That doesn't have any kind of effect. You will get bored of that particular mantra in 5 minutes. When you're talking about Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, it is said that it is Krishna Avatar. So you constantly, when you're chanting, it is said in scriptures that when you're chanting the holy name of the Lord is actually dancing on your tongue. Naam Chintamani. Naam Chintamani. Yes, that is so true. It is like a Chintamani gem. So it is very important. It is not something that is very ordinary. Not everyone can chant also. Not everyone can chant also. So many people will tell, when we go out, we tell them to chant. They will not do. So it is such a rare opportunity. We are all very lucky that we are able to chant the Lord's name. We should consider ourselves to be very fortunate. Okay. Anyways, I'll stop it for now. I'll take questions. I'm here. I'll take questions. If you have any questions that you want to ask just personally, you can ask. Yeah. Thank you all for coming. And today we have Kartik month. I also wanted to tell it is Ajinkya Prabhu's birthday tomorrow. Ajinkya Prabhu has been in our congregation for a long time. He does a lot of seva. So let's chant one time for Prabhuji's spiritual progress. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So let's all chant for 5 minutes. Yeah. So don't take this as you have completed your round, because we are just chanting for 5 minutes, right? Please go home. If you haven't chanted, please continue. You finish your round. Okay? It is only beneficial. How many ever rounds you chant? It is only adding as benefit. Especially it's Kartik month. And today we will actually sing Damodar Ashtakam. In the month of Kartik, we sing Damodar Ashtakam. This was written by Satyavarta Muni. And this is what we need to recite or sing in the month of Kartik. So we will be singing that. We will actually display it on our monitor. And also Goloka kids, our kids have been taught Damodar Ashtakam. After 4 weeks, you will hear your kids also sing Damodar Ashtakam. Such a wonderful thing, right? So yes, everyone's got the beads. If you don't have beads, I will suggest please buy beads and your japa bag. It's very important to have your personal bead and japa bag. So constantly when you're traveling, when you're not here, it's very important to chant on beads. Like Prabhuji had a question, it's okay to chant. There are multiple questions people have. Is it okay to chant without beads? You can chant without beads, but if you want the ultimate benefit, it is said you chant on the beads. Okay? So let's all chant. Let the kids also chant. Let's inspire them also to chant. It's the month of Kartik. I told you how to hold the beads, right? Everyone knows how to hold the beads, right? Okay. So close your eyes. Let's park all our thoughts for the next 5 minutes. No thoughts. Any problem in family, work, we all park it. We'll deal with it after 5 minutes. This 5 minutes we are totally dedicating it to Lord. It's the Damodar Mass. It's the Kartik month. with the prayer that I am going to deepen my spiritual knowledge, deepen the way I chant my mantras. Take the blessings of all the Vaishnavas around. Take the blessings of the Lord. And let's start. Please repeat after me. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gauramatavrinda. Let's start. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram